Hi everybody, I'm Sophie Rosso. I'm the Deputy CEO of Redman, a real estate developer, and today I'm very proud to be with exceptional guests. You will discover them to talk about economic and about the construction model and the circular construction model. That means changing the model, because now we are in the linear model only, and with all the guests you will discover today, we want to construct a complete new model for having a better, a quicker, and a most massive impact. So the first guest with me, I'm very proud to be with Sébastien Duprat from CycleUp. Hello, Sébastien.
Hello, Sophie.
I'm very proud. We know each other because it's a small market and we know each other, and I'm very, very honored to be with you today. You will explain maybe to everybody what you do from 3 years, I think, with CycleUp, and it's a big success in France. Maybe we can just say that you have been an engineer just before launching this enterprise, and now you are an entrepreneur, and you have launched CycleUp 3 years ago, and now CycleUp is booming in France, luckily, and you will explain maybe what you do with CycleUp, but also why circular economy in our construction model is so difficult, and what fosters this model now, what we have to do together. So we will let you explain all of that.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thank you.
So hi, everyone. My purpose today will mainly to be asking the question how we can massify the impact of circular economy and make it relevant to fit with the challenges we have about waste, resources, and climate. First, I want to give a tribute to Dmitry Mendeleev that you will soon see on the screen.
You don't. You're not lucky today, but
so just to talk about the way we deal with resources and scarcity of resources as the main issue at the beginning for circular economy, and going with that, the question of waste management, was strongly impacted by the massive use of resources and their short-term consumption. I'm a bit disturbed by the techniques at the moment.
Maybe I don't think when we are attending, we are waiting for the presentation. Maybe I can give some figures, because it can give you the stakes. Construction industry is responsible for over 30% of the extract of natural resources in the world. As well, I don't know if you have the same figures, but it's from the world, agree. As well as 25% of solid waste generated in the world. That means that it's a major stake. It's not just an epiphenomenon, it's a major stake. And I don't know whether your presentation is okay. I also have maybe another figure, is that when buildings reach the end of their lifetime, only 40% waste is recycled or reused, only 40%. So that means why CycleUp is so important.
Yes, and due to this pressure on resources, we can also have the climatic overview of all this matter of materials and resources, is that 10% of the global energy world consumption is due to mining, to go and find more and more resources. To fight those matters, climate, resource, waste, we have really, in the real estate industry, the opportunity to find one solution complementary with others, which is circular construction. And this circular construction will bring benefits to the projects, to the real estate developments, with the ability to help them to fit with the regulation and to give more benefits to the users, but also have benefits for the territories and the people. through employment, jobs, and waste management opportunities.
You know that ChangeNOW is a place where we explain and we show that we have concrete solutions. Can you explain what exactly CycleUp is doing and how you interact with other people, with Pascal from Gobain will be after that, and how you are with them today?
Yes. Circular construction needs first to make resource change from hand to hand. And it was existing before, but on an informal business. And the challenge now is to bring it in a massive solution, a formal solution that we can rely on with traceability, with CO2 calculation, with social benefits, and switching from a non-formal economy to a formal and positive economics is the challenge. And therefore, the range of solutions that the circular actors are bringing to the market is split between digital solution, marketplace, apps for diagnostics, building information modeling and CO2 calculation, but also a new range of services such as diagnostics, consultancy, logistics, refurbishment, and all those planets in the circular economy can work together to bring a full solution for the real estate industry.
Okay, very interesting. You are not just a platform.
No, we are a combination, and in the sector we can find a combination of digital platform that will fluidify and make reliable and guaranteed all the transactions, but it's also a service and logistics platform to make the flow realistic and to be able to serve more and more big operation, and this way the size effect is really important to give solutions for big projects which are really CO2 consuming.
Yeah. You are talking about massive impact, and that's very important to massify. You know, maybe people that are listening to us know that the regulation is changing in France. There is a new law. What is your opinion about that? Is that for you, is that something good? Is that, has it its limits? What do you think about that?
This new regulation, the AGEC law, is really a good opportunity, at least to put the question on the map and to have everyone now in the sector have heard about circular construction. And 5 years ago, few people have heard about it. It's a quite old way of building. We know that for centuries, architects and constructors, Mendeleev is back.
Mendeleev is back, so
and I go
everything
quick.
is good.
I'll go quick to the next slides to fit with the presentation right now. As I said, there is a full galaxy of solutions from digital to services, and all that is really an opportunity now to serve the major real estate actors and constructors to be able to implement the circularity in their process. But I just want to go to the conclusion of this talk. First, speak about a bestseller for startups. It is 0 to 1. In fact, it's very well known, but I don't like it because it's all about a monopolistic disruption. And I think that we really don't need monopols, and maybe we don't need disruptions. But what I'm sure is that we need cooperative transformation. So I'm more interested in talking about how we can go from 0 to 1 and then from 1 to many, rather than being a super monopole, which is not my vision of sustainability. The question now is how we go from innovation, what was done in the 5 past years, to massification. And then because of massification, we will have a strong impact. And with no massification, we will be a nice startup network, but we need to massify to have real impacts and change the things. As we can see, first, to become an innovation to massification, we have to make sure that we create value for users. And it's the first necessary success. Creating value for users, getting better prices, having relevant solutions, and of course, combined to that, the question of awareness and knowledge that have to be developed within the whole sector. I just want to show in the past 3 years of CycleUp how the community expanded. The figures are not that important, just to see that everywhere, small cities, large cities, metropolitan areas, in all these situations, there can be some circular opportunities and circular loops. But the community way of thinking is not a trendy way to communicate. It's also necessary to emphasize and to multiply the opportunities for connections and for loops. Going with that, I've talked about awareness and knowledge. We know that the whole community of builders, architects, real estate developers have to be trained, have to be demonstrated how circularity can bring solutions for their projects. So we have created a gallery where we can talk, discuss, and convince people that circularity is a real opportunity for their projects. The next step is how can we make sure that massification will bring impact? First question is bring value for climate. I know it's an engineering way of presenting things, value arrows, but creating value for climate and then creating new business and new jobs. Going that way, I will show that combined with digital platforms, we can have physical platforms. And those platforms are the opportunity to provide materials for bigger projects. Going with that and along that, there is a huge challenge for the people is how we can train each other, architects, developers, engineers, and changing the way they work into a circular target. When the massification is there, we just have to sustain it to make sure that everyone will go that way. And business condition, regulation will make circularity a business condition, and it will reinforce the value for users and reinforce the massification. Combined to that is those new jobs, those new biz, and we have seen some innovation where the jobs were not really valuable for people. It's really the second way to make sure that for everyone the social impact will be good. I can introduce you Lassana and Adama. They were our first 2 employees with social employment. And it's an experiment for us how we can develop new kind of jobs, new kind of training, new kind of inclusion strategies to make circular economy all the more an environmental positive impact, but also a social positive impact. To conclude and to launch the discussion to come, this innovation to massification can be done in 2 ways. It can be done with the assistance, with the momentum of the existing business. And they will provide to the circular switch their strengths, their networks, their industrial capacity, and it will maximize, speed up, and magnify the impact possibilities. How we can make this transformation against the existing business. And we know, I'm not really confident with Schumpeter that the destruction will be positive. I'm more sure that there will be some destruction, and it will speed down and lower the impacts potential. So I really expect that the full real estate industry, from material to construction to engineering to ownership, insurance, will be able together to push and go to this massification process. It's the challenge for us. Let's pull the rope together, and I'm sure it can move very fast and very efficiently for the sector.
Thanks a lot, Sébastien. It's a very good way to introduce the two next people we will have with us. Pascal Eveillard from Gobain and Nicolas Cruaud online from Néolithe. Hello, Pascal.
Hello, Sophie.
I'm very happy to be with you today. You are head of sustainable business development, you will say, in Gobain.
Correct.
So a very small enterprise, a startup, like a startup. How many years of existence?
More than 350 years.
Okay, so a very small one. And you have been in Gobain for
21 years.
21 years, sorry.
Already.
21 years. So you're Pascal, and we are online. We have Nicolas Cruaud. Nicolas, you are in Angers, that's it, today, in France.
Yes.
And Are you?
Hi, sorry I couldn't be there on stage.
No problem. The magic of of the online event. Nicolas, you are the founder of Néolithe. Néolithe is a real startup. You have founded. You have created it 1 year ago, 1 or 2 years ago. It's a very
2 years ago, yeah, with my father and a friend of mine.
Yeah, and you will explain maybe the existence of Néolithe. So that's very interesting because you have heard Sébastien. Sébastien said that we have to be a collective team and that everyone has to work about it. And that's the point with you because you are one of the biggest firms in France and one of the smallest, but the two of you are our champion for R&D and innovation, and you will explain how. And also that's interesting because both of you, when we were preparing this event, we were discussing about circular economy, and both of you say it's not only recycling. Recycling it's a part of it, you will explain, but recycling is not only the solution because sometimes we are downcycling some materials to construct a road and we can do better, and that's what Néolithe is doing. So maybe we can, I'm with the person who is present, maybe we can begin with you, Pascal. Can you explain what you are doing with your department in Saint-Gobain, because it's very interesting, and what you're doing daily because you are very ambitious at Saint-Gobain. Can you explain that?
Well, yes, Saint-Gobain has sustainability as one of the 2 pillars of its strategy. So we consider that the growth and the differentiation of Saint-Gobain will be built on 2 pillars, sustainability and performance. And my team is in charge of supporting countries to grasp all the opportunities related to sustainability on the market, starting by developing better offers. So we bring support in terms of eco-innovation. We also bring support in terms of life cycle analysis, helping businesses to have a better knowledge of the environmental impacts of their solutions, better knowledge also of the health impacts of their solutions. Part of my team is supporting the businesses to have a better marketing towards their customers, to have better explanations of what is at stake, better selling their product, their solutions. And a third and last team is in charge of public affairs, supporting the market transformation, because actually everything will happen if we are able to transform and speed up the transformation of the market on 2 sides. On the voluntary side, with labeling schemes, with trendsetters willing to be ahead of the bulk of other stakeholders, but we will need also better regulations. So we are also active in pushing for better regulations.
And what you can say is that also Saint-Gobain is a major firm, and you have everything about construction in Saint-Gobain with different brands.
Absolutely. So we are a leader, manufacturer and distributor of construction products. We are active in 70 countries.
Yes, all the value chain.
All across the world.
Nicolas, can you maybe explain the story, the beautiful story of Néolithe?
Yeah, so at Néolithe, we are at the end of the recycling chain. We take all the non-recyclable waste, like plastics, woods, insulant, anything that is mixed and that should go to the landfills, especially, or to the incinerations plants, and we turn them into mineral aggregates like this one. So those are little stones that are used the same ways as natural stones from quarries are used. So to make roads or to make concrete, for example. So Néolithe, yes, we have 2 years. We are 2 years old, and so I'm the engineer with my associate Clément, which is my age, but the inventor of the process is my father, which is who is a stone cutter, so not a researcher at all. But he tried to mimic the nature, to transform waste into a stone the same way geotechnical properties work. So we call this the fossilization in reference to what nature is doing to fossilize organic waste also.
Okay, can you show, because we have just seen a little bit, that's a stone, and from this stone you are building also cement, and you are building concrete. You're testing new concrete now.
Yeah, so we can make concrete by replacing natural aggregates. So we won't make the cement, but we will reduce the extraction of new quarries, of new aggregates in the quarries.
Okay, and you have already done experiments on at the true level?
Yeah, well, we have done last month first try of a concrete the foundation of an house. We made the concrete with a few tons of anthropocyte. It's called anthropocyte.
Okay, and so I have a question for you two. Is it easier to change the model and to foster the circular economy when you are a very new small business, or when you are Saint-Gobain with? Is it easier? Is it more difficult? What do you think about that?
I wouldn't say it's easy, even for a large company, because it's not just a question of Saint-Gobain's changing. You need to change the whole ecosystem. So you need to make sure that the whole value chain, from the job site to us, from the designer of the building to the contractor, will be engaged into thinking, designing, building, recycling, reusing in a completely different way. So it's a matter of a new ecosystem and of a new way of thinking. So a complete transformation, and we need everybody to be on board. One single company can't succeed.
Yeah, I will ask after that the same question to Nicolas, but you were talking about training people. I think it's a major stake of...
Education and training is key.
What are you doing for that at Saint-Gobain, for training your partners?
First, we need to train our own employees. So we need first to make sure that our employees are aware of the stakes and aware of the solutions and able to promote our solutions. And then we have training towards small contractors, thanks to our distribution network. So we have the chance to have in France, in the Nordics, distribution outlets all over the countries, which helps a lot to go in close contacts with small contractors and to deliver simple but very smart messages to those small contractors, which are actually at the heart of the issue. Circularity starts to work with large contractors, large engineering companies, but the building sector is mainly made of those small companies, SMEs, and this is what makes it very difficult to convert thousands, tens of thousands of small companies into the circular way of thinking.
And also maybe work with architects. We will have Carmen after that. You will discuss about that, but the entire
design is key, for sure.
For sure. Nicolas, what about a new business? The other actors from construction were waiting for you with weapons, or is everybody happy that new innovative models are coming? What is your feeling?
I agree with Pascal Eveillard when he says that we can't change the market on our own. We don't have only to convince our clients to give us their waste, and then we sell the stones. We have to go through the whole value chain to make them, especially for me, if I take my example, to make the owners of buildings aware that we exist, and to make them want my material. So we have the same problems as Saint-Gobain to move the whole market, but maybe they are better at because they are way stronger when they can convince much more companies than us, because they are maybe they are big clients to us, or a big supplier. But we are a bit more agile, and we can adapt our business model more easily. So What was your question, especially?
You answered to that. Is it simple or not? You say it's the same. It's complicated because we have to communicate and to make people know that it's possible. It's possible. We have solution. We can do it differently.
We don't have really enemies in the construction sector. Constructors are happy to be able to reduce their footprint. Even the quarries are not an enemy to us because they know that they have limited resources, and if someone can recycle materials into stones, their own quarry and their own resource is taking more value because it can be used for higher value construction. So I don't think that we are fighting everybody to go in the market.
Good. We are discussing a lot about recycling, reusing from an existing building. What is interesting is that you also work on the new ones, on the new buildings, because the issue is not constructing now what we won't be able to recycle in 30 years, because the last of time of a building now in France is 30. 30 is short. We should be at 40, 50. And so that's a major stake of Saint-Gobain, is also thinking about that. Can you tell us?
It's true that we need to make sure that at design stage, the new build will encompass all the stakes of circularity. So we need to secure that it will use as little as possible resources. We are developing lightweight solutions for facade, for partitions, which is a good way to go for less raw materials in use. You need to make sure that the building will last very long, as you said. So you need to secure that it will be flexible in use, that it will be adaptable. Today, you can't be sure that a residential building will last for 50 years as a residential building. It might be turned into another type of building. So you need to design it so that changing the use will be easily made without wasting resources. You need at design stage also to foresee what will be made for maintenance, for repair, to make it easy and not to waste resources. And you need also to design to easy deconstruction, and to make sure that everything that will be employed will be easily reused or recyclable. And so this is a major challenge for the designers. It's hopefully the architect will explain that it's a big change for them in terms of design, but it's also a big stake for us to bring new solutions and services, because it's also thinking not only in terms of materials and products, but more in terms of systems, constructive systems, and attached services.
So it means that daily your team, it's a 14 people team. They are joining engineers to help them to do that with methods, with tools. With how do they do that?
Well, we have developed methodologies and processes to include sustainability aspects in the innovation process. So we train our researchers, our marketing people, to think not only in terms of technical performances, but also to have the sustainability dimension in mind. And we join projects, R&D projects, to bring support, to bring calculations. I mentioned the life cycle analysis. So this is one of the aspects where we can really help a lot in terms of new developments, to bring this quantified knowledge, just to secure that what you will develop will be really positive for the environment.
I was talking with Sébastien about regulation. In France, we will have in the construction, we will have the RE 2020, and now we will have also the life cycle. It will be mandatory, the dynamic life cycle analysis. Is it for you an opportunity? Is it good enough? Should we go further? What do you think about that?
Well, clearly, if we want, I will speak more broadly than just France, if we want the market to move towards more sustainability, towards more circularity, we need to have better regulations. So if you let only the market change on a voluntary basis, you have maybe 5 to maximum 25% of the market that will move. To have the entire market moving, you need to have better regulations. So what is happening in France is clearly promising. So it's opening a new area. For France is among the leading country in terms of including LCA thinking into the new built regulation. So it's clearly an opportunity to bring new solutions, but it's also a challenge because it will clearly need to be explained to all stakeholders, and there will be a huge need for education and training to help better understand what is at stake and to optimize the design and construction process.
Of course. And so we have just 4 minutes left. I'm the timekeeper. Nicolas, maybe the next steps for Néolithe and the opportunities you have to develop. How are you developing for the next year?
Yes, I just wanted to say something about the regulations because for us it's really important that those new regulations are set up because they are really a huge opportunity. We are selling our service at the same price of current waste treatment, so landfilling and incineration. And the stones are also sold at the same price as regular stones. So we are only selling ecology, environmental ecology, yes. So if the regulation does not impose this ecology, we will only have, yes, a few ones that want to maybe make communication out of it or make good conditions, but the whole market won't move. And so for the next step, we will commercialize our solution by the end of the year. For the news, we are talking also with many companies from Saint-Gobain in order to maybe treat their waste or to sell our stones. So yeah, the next step for us is industrialization and commercialization.
Massifying, as Sébastien said. You have 2 minutes left. Do you have a message you would want to share with everybody? People who are listening to ChangeNOW are not only professionals, there are some professionals, but not only. What's the message you would say? As Sébastien said, we have to be together and to be... What would you say, Pascal?
Well, I would say circularity is a huge opportunity to reinvent the way we are working together, manufacturer, designer, contractors. So it's a good way to reinvent the whole sector and the approach to the construction. So it's a major opportunity.
What about you, Nicolas?
Yeah, I would say that even if you don't work in the construction sector, you can have an impact on us because if you ask for greener solutions, you will force the market to change to respond to this new demand. So everyone can help the transition, and circular economy comes first by the customer at the end, and in the construction sector, the customer is the people living in the buildings.
Thanks to you too. Thanks, Pascal. Thanks, Nicolas. It was a pleasure. By the way, we are talking about changing the way of thinking. I'm very happy to be one of the architects who has a very different mindset. It's Carmen Santana. She's arriving, but we have some logistics. So I'm with Carmen Santana. Carmen is hi Carmen. She's the international part of this panel because we were between French. You are from Chile, but you are from everywhere. You will explain. You speak fluently Spanish, French, and today I told you it's mandatory to speak English, but don't worry. If you want sometimes to speak in French, I will translate to everybody if you prefer. Carmen, I'm personally very happy to be with you today because I think we have met maybe 10 or 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. I was just beginning in this sector, and I met an extraordinary person, and you were talking about what we called at that time the third places, because you have launched one in Barcelona. Yeah. It's Kubik. Kubik, it's a place where different people are working, architects and so on. You will maybe explain that. And you explained that to me. I was in charge of office buildings. I told myself, what is this person? What is she doing? And now everybody's talking about third places, les tiers-lieux and so on. So I'm very happy. Can you just explain maybe what you're doing?
Yes, of course.
From where you are.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry because my English is really, really bad, but I will try to do an effort and to speak with you in English. Yes, I think this is a really important thing, that who you are living, you must be there, and you must learn of the things of the place you are. I'm born in Chile, exactly, so the nature. The kind of people, the relationship with help other persons, solidarity is there. French, I do all my architect studies and some master here in Paris or Toulouse, and the way of thinking, French way of thinking is very important. We are a very interesting country. The France. All the time people say, but because Barcelona, no, we are doing here things that we don't do for the moment in Spain. So it's very interesting.
Yes, we hadn't time to say, because it was when we prepared the event, I asked Pascal and Nicolas, how is France? Are we very bad? Because, you know, French people, we say that every time we're very bad. And the two of them told me, no, we're quite good. Comparing with other countries, we're quite good.
Yeah,
even from the Nordic countries, we are...
Yes.
So that's a good
and then I'm living in Barcelona since 20 years. I do the agency there with two associates, Marc and Miguel. And I think it was very, very interesting for us, because there is all the reflection about solidarity, commons, public space, the relationship with the interior and exterior. And there is something very, very interesting. So I think this parcours makes to me look the things like this. I don't know. So yes, I think the circular economy, and this moment is very interesting, very hard for certain people, but it's very interesting because the machine stopped. No? Very sad, and it was very, very rude for all the people. And I think the circular economy starts at home. Start with you, with your family, with your the way of you consume, and then you can be able to apply that at all your projects. No, I think maybe Kubik. You speak about that. This collaboration space, solidarity space. Yes, it was something that we invented, and the most important, we gestionamos, on a géré. Economy well managed.
It was during the crisis. During the crisis in Spain.
The crisis, during now the pandemic, and this is a space that gone. So, I think this is. I think we have to go with the standardization. And if you row during years and years and years against the river like the Somme, if you think it's the way, you must to go there. I think it's very interesting today. When we make the park, when this transdisciplinary space, effectively was something strange, no? A new kind of organization to work. Why not? Yes, why not? And when we did the parking, the car park in Montpellier, 7 years
Maybe
ago.
we can explain. It's a car parking for people who know Montpellier. Montpellier, you are at the center, at the train station. Yes. Just in front of the train station, you have these parkings.
It's the parking from the station, yes.
From the station.
And it's in the middle of the old city, so very incredible things. And when we start thinking about this competition, of course, we put more money in the concrete to do high levels. And we think about the reversibility, chronotopy. I think today the concept of chronotopy is very important because the taux d'usage, how do you say that in English? The
I don't know how to say, but how you use a building, the thing that you can use at different time, the same building by different persons.
Different uses.
It's a different type of density of buildings.
And we have to make that really in the building since long times ago, but not it's there. And we have to work with industrials. It's very important because like this we can de-standardize the thing of way of thinking of the material. You asked me for the material. I think the more important material today is people. It's people and it's neighbor, it's people who are living there, who will come in the buildings. It's very important because the collective intelligence is really something, a very good value. For me, it's the first material. And then this is all the things about le déjà là, the building that are there, the city on the city, like in Paris, since a long time there is this kind of pensée. We just win now a very interesting reinventing Paris in
yeah, we can discuss about it because people are not maybe don't know even if you have press articles. You have just a winner of the last Reinventing Paris competition at in the 15th part of Paris.
Yes.
It's called Garage Renault. So you are the winner. Congratulations, because all the actors in real estate wanted this site. I think we were 30 competitors at the first. So congrats. What is interesting is that you're keeping the major part of this building, and you will add some density. Maybe you can explain how you do that?
Well, the thing is work with the déjà là. You take a building and you repair it, you care, you
make a diagnosis, as you say.
Exactly, like you say before, and you conserve all the things you can conserve, and all the things you have to extrude, you reuse that.
Yeah.
In different ways, of course. You can do the concrete and things like this. Maybe take the doors, window, etc., etc. So I think we only take off 30% of the building, actual building of Renault, and then we build a new little tower in wood, just to be poetic, discreet. I think we have to put some poetry in our language, architectural language, and for that there is two kinds of things to do. Speak with people, intelligence collective, écosystème ouvert, open ecosystem. It's very important.
What all of you say, that's a different way of thinking. That means when we are working on an existing building, the first should not be you demolish it and you rebuild. That has been that for a lot of too many years. That has been that. You consider the existing, even if you think at the beginning it's quite poor construction. I haven't seen any very poor construction. Every time it's interesting to but it means a lot of time, maybe also spending more money in the beginning, maybe spending more time and more money in the beginning of the operation. And you know that time is money for us as developers. So that's very complicated to do that. But
yes, of course, it's very complicated. I think if we work on this kind of project, you spend not double, but 3 or 4 more times to do that. You don't own the same money, of course, because this is a lot of time, dedication. You have to do education with the people, with the industrial. It's very complex, but I think it's the moment to open doors. Just open doors, just show that another world is possible. And I think that is very interesting because we have to work with our ego, especially the architects and urbanists. We have to learn how to listen, just listen, people, listen all together, all the people, and respect us. The diversity is very interesting. If I always speak about my parcours, because you must just listen. It's very interesting. And the other thing we do, and it's very gratefully, is the thing of the economy circular, and we are speaking a lot about that, the productive city. And we are working, in an urban project in Ivry-sur-Seine.
Yes.
That is an urban planning, and we put there.
Yes, because we didn't say you're an architect, but you're also an urban planner. That's interesting because you are working on a bigger scale, and maybe we haven't talked about that, but maybe circular economy has more sense on the scale of town, maybe of a part of the town, than just one building.
I think it's interesting today to be architect and urban planner effectively, because this is two different scale, and you can work with different kind of typology of building to put to put this plan. There are two things important about the economy circular there in this project. One is the construction of 400 excuse me, houses, and in a very big city, la cité Gagarine. And we do that with Epaorsa Grand Paris Aménagement. They didn't know nothing at the beginning because it's a very, very big scale. But we learn all together. And at the end, it was very, very impressive because for the people, we can't just destroy this building. It was impossible because it's something very strong for the population there. And then we learned that at the final, the economy circle of these kind of things, and the time is the same. It's exactly one or more or 2 months. It's the same equation. It's very interesting, but we had a very, very long time together, all together. And exchanging information was really very interesting.
Yeah,
and now we are...
That's the same money on the long time, but more money at the beginning.
Exactly, exactly. It's very interesting, really. It's a conference only of this subject. At the same time, we try to put on the project, urban project, all the sub-basement with concrete, and that make the hotel for the little bestials. And we will build a serre for the agriculture, education, etc. With the
glass building,
for the education of population there.
Okay.
It's a very complex project, but it's really interesting.
You're right to say that because in Eveillard it's quite a poor area. So that means also that circular economy, it's not only for rich people who can afford it, and but that's for everybody.
It's why I say that this is really that economy, the circular economy starts at home. Because if you think that's very important, you will be all your projects in rich areas, not rich areas. And this is very interesting because the population helps you a lot when you are working like this. Because people, now after pandemic is incredible, they know that you have to change. So they are they say, merci, thanks to do that like this.
Yeah, maybe some architects are listening to you, young architects that are beginning their career at the moment. What would you say as a piece of advice if they want to do differently? What kind of advice? How can they have information about that? How can they? I understand that it's by doing that you do that, but are you in some networks? Or maybe Pascal, you can just I don't know if you have the camera, but you are in networks. What as a piece of advice, what would you say?
I was teaching a lot of for long times. I stopped that I think 7 years before because we start to have a lot of not a lot of work, but some work that take a lot of time. I think it's very important to see. You have a lot of information today, a lot of information, too much even I think. But you have just to choose the thing that you are interested on. And I think it's like an urbanist, I see that the new generations of architects are very interesting. Really, I think they're born in this crisis. They're born with this end of the world, because our generation, since 20 or 30 years ago, we know that there's a problem. We know that this is a climatic problem. We know that the pandemic will be the problem here in this cycle. And all the times So.
But we also see in France, I don't know in the rest of the other countries you are working on, that the local authorities are also changing. For example, in Paris, where you have one, it was mandatory that you keep the existing building. And if you didn't do that, you could be out of the competition.
Absolutely, but if I say that today is something of ethic. It's really something personal. And I think Paris, Anne Hidalgo, really makes a very, very big effort with all this political together to stop this kind of thing. It's very funny because 1 year ago, 2 years ago, when you take a cab, all the taxis, because the traffic jam, and now they are super content because they have a lot of much more work, and the circulation is better. It's just we are very, very against the change. That's the human nature, and France is encore pire.
Even worse.
But yeah, but I
we don't like change.
This is
it's frightening.
Oh yes, but you have right, Sophie. That starts with the political thing and the political bras de fer with, of course.
But also some pioneers who want to pay the price of taking risk and doing that. And do you have, as a you architect, or do you see other architects having collaborations with big construction firm or and working about R&D? Also in this sector?
R&D?
Innovation, research and development?
I say that before, yeah. We always work with big companies, like Gobain, for example. We are trying to do something in Montpellier with you. With the projection of the terre, comment on dit la terre? Earth, mais la terre qu'on projette aussi?
Terre projetée, c'est ça?
Terre projetée, yes. Very interesting. Yeah, the parking, the facade was made with the ceramist industry because, yeah, we have to work with them to de-standardize the system, the way of thinking they have for long times, yeah.
And it's very useful because, you know, we haven't talked about that, but we have 50. So if you add that, we have to begin now to have very low carbon buildings from now.
This is something important that we have to have all together a systemic vision. Because it's not only make the construction with wood, it's not only plant a lot of vegetables in the public space, for example, but it's also a reflection about the typology. I say before the chronotopy is very important because in the Agrocité, for example, we put all the buildings are with 60 meters or something like this. Finito, c'est terminé. We can utilize. I'm sorry. We can do the ventilation, natural ventilation. Yeah, I think that the only thing we have to do is return to the common sense. Punto.
What is interesting is that you say the best material is the one you don't use. It doesn't mean you construct to recycle. It's better even not to construct. So it's also in our way of thinking to reduce the raw materials, not to do something more.
Absolutely.
It's a way of
we
doing
repair,
very differently.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this is a very good politic from Paris, for example.
And other cities.
Yeah, other cities. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Carmen. Do you have other message, maybe like other participants did? Do you want to say something to people who are listening, who are not professional, maybe?
Well, for the young people, the young architects, yes, let's on the back the ego. This is not important, Carmen Santana. No, I am not Carmen Santana. I'm all the ecosystem we work with, and my associates, my people, of course, and my family. So stop on thinking that. If necessary, go to the psychologist.
Thanks a lot, Carmen. Thanks to everybody. Maybe I will just conclude the event. I will try to sum up everything we have told today, but also the day when we prepared that, and also the other talks we have during all the year. Maybe I would say that embracing a new circular business model, because it's a new business model, requires different success factors. It's to rethink the entire supply chain. It's to consider the entire project life system. It's to create a collaborative system, and thanks, Sébastien, for telling it. Invest in research and development, because we have existing solutions now, but we have to invest a lot in that because new solutions are also coming. And the last, and what's the title of the event, we have to expand and scale these solutions. Some are pioneers, but now every new project should be thought through that.
Absolutely.
Thanks to everybody, and have a nice Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.